Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tadodaya Mudiraye Nasta Prayesh Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21. We're going to do verses 22 to 32, I believe.
Chapter 21.
21, yeah. So, in this section, this chapter, Kardama Muni has been doing penances for a while, and now Lord Vishnu has appeared before him after all these years of penances. And anyone remember what he asked for? Was it? This is a graduation. Huh?
A wife of like disposition.
A wife of like disposition. Oh, yeah. That's what he asked for. And so this section, Lord Vishnu is going to speak now. So let me just read this translation. Maitreya resumed. Sincerely extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection.
The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory discipline.
The Lord continued, my dear Rishi, a leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion and worshiping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration.
Swayambhuva, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous acts, has his seat in Brahmavarta and rules over the earth with his 7 nations. The day after tomorrow, O Brahma, the celebrated emperor, who is expert in religious activities, will come here with his queen, Sakta Rudra, wishing to see you.
He has a grown-up daughter whose eyes are black. She is ready for marriage, and she has a good character and all good qualities. She is also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you, who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver her daughter as her wife.
The princess, O holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart for all these long years. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content.
She will bring forth 9 daughters from the seed sown in her by you, and through the daughters you beget, the sages will duly beget children.
With your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to me.
Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization, giving assurance of safety to all. You will perceive your own self as well as the universe in me and myself in you.
I shall manifest my own portion to you with the Devahuti, the nine daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that details
Can we go to verse 24? न वै जातु मृषैवस्यात् प्रजाध्यक्षमदर्हणम् भवद्विधेषु अतितराम् मयि सङ्गृभीतात्मनाम् न वै जातुमृषैवस्यात् प्रजाध्यक्षमदर्हणम् भवद्विधेषु अतितराम् मयि सङ्गृभीतात्मना न वै जातुमृषैवस्यात् प्रजाध्यक्षमदर्हणम् भवद्विधेषु अतितराम् मयि सङ्गृभीतात्मना. Please chant. न वै जातुमृषैवस्यात् प्रजाध्यक्षमदर्हणम् भवद्विधेषु अतितराम् मयि सङ्गृभीतात्मना. वै जातुमृषैवस्यात् प्रजाध्यक्षमदर्हणम् न वै जातुमृषैवस्यात् प्रजाध्यक्षमदर्हणम् भवद्विधेषु अतितराम् मयि सङ्गृभीतात्मना. All right, let's do the word to it together. No, not. Why? Indeed. Jatu, ever. Risha uses. Eva, only. Syat, it may be. Praja, of the living entities. Adaksha, O leader. Mad Arhanam, worship of me. Bhavat Videshu, unto persons like you. Atitanam, entirely. Mai, on me. Sangbita, affixed. Atmanam, those whose minds. Let's do a translation together. The Lord continued, my dear Rishi, O Lord of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. Who would like to read the purport?
Oh, yeah. Even if he has some desires, one engaged in the service of the Lord is never frustrated. Those engaged in his service are called Sakam and Akam. Those who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead with desires for material enjoyment are called Sakam. And those devotees who have no material desires for sense gratification to serve the Supreme Lord out of spontaneous love for him are called Akam. Sakama devotees are divided into 4 classes: those in distress, those in need of money, the inquisitive, and the wise. Someone worships the Supreme Lord because of bodily or mental distress. Someone else worships the Supreme Lord because he's in need of money. Someone else worships the Lord out of inquisitiveness to know him as he is. And someone wants to know the Lord as a philosopher can know him, by the research work of his wisdom. There is no frustration for any of these 4 classes of men. Each is endowed with the desired result of his worship.
Oh my God, in a second, and then actually I have to experiment with this. I'll show you right. So yeah, the 2 classes of men, Sakama and Akama. Does anyone remember what Kama means? Desire, yeah, desire. sometimes used in the context of lusty desire, kama. No, so intense desire for material sense enjoyment, kama. And so sakama, so often there's so before any word, it's with kama, or not with kama. And so there's two kinds of people, sakama, akama, they approach Krishna. And I was thinking about how in the material world, when there's a rich, powerful personality, and what's the thing rich people really hate? What do rich people really hate? One of the many things. Four people, other rich people, yes, and the four people. Is that what you said? Oh, so poor people. Oh, okay, that's funny. Yeah, rich people. Yeah, and I was thinking how, but when somebody comes after their money, they really hate that. Yeah. So when you yeah, the poor, I guess. And when we go to donors, but for one, they get tired of being accosted for, like, give a donation for this, give a donation for that, and that's my job, huh? And but they really love it when you genuinely become friends with them. When you're just there to be their friends for the next decade, and then ask them for money. Just kidding. Yeah, in Mumbai, when Radhanath Maharaj set up the temple there in Chapati, when he set up the temple, it often happens sometimes in ISKCON where if there's two temples and there's one main temple in a city, and then one baby temple comes up, the big temple says, "Hey, you can't fundraise in this city. Off limits. Go outside the city. Yeah, we have cultivated donors." And so Maharaj said, "It's all right. We're not here to fundraise. We're here to friend raise." So fundraising is friend raising, really, because people give money to people. I mean, anyway, I don't want to do a whole class of fundraising, but but the point is, yeah, when there's rich, powerful personality, they really detest it. They detest it when someone just shows up and asks them for something, for a favor, and they're tired of it. But Krishna is no ordinary powerful person. That's the factor that's different in this scenario, and any scenario for that matter. Doesn't matter if you go to Krishna with desire or without desire. For him there's no duality, because that's how a person is thinking, right? A rich person, or any person for that matter, they think in duality. They think, oh, he's coming asking me for something. He doesn't, he's not my friend. He's just asking me he's just approaching me because I have some resources. That's how the mind and duality works. A friend or enemy. And but with Krishna, there is no question of duality. But from Krishna's vision, everybody is a spirit soul. Not just that, but also he sees, like, oh, this person's come to me, and he's my long lost friend, and of course I'm going to help him. And so it's a whole different vision from Krishna's perspective. He's no ordinary person, of course. He's supreme person. So yeah, when Kardamuni, or anyone for that matter, approaches Krishna with sakama or akama, Krishna just he's just happy that this person is there. Like when you have a friend, who hasn't contacted you in a long time, and you're very dear to them, both of you are very dear to each other. It doesn't matter why they call you, really. If you're really close, you've been really tight. And so it doesn't really matter why they call you. Maybe they call you for a favor. What's the big, so what? You normally don't even think about it. Of course, if sometimes people are very, very materialistic and always think in terms of duality, they're like, oh, now you're calling me and I need something. But a good-hearted friend just never thinks about it. Yeah, of course I'm going to help you. And so that comes from Krishna. It comes from Krishna. But Krishna is like that. So when you go to Krishna for anything, anyone remember any dear friend of Krishna who came to him asking for something? Yeah, Sudama Brahmana. They were school buddies, and they had a lot of fun together. And we only know one story of them going in the forest collecting forest wood, firewood for their teacher, for their Gurukul teacher, for the guru. And that's only one story. That's just one day. And Yeah, it's funny, in friendships, like when you go through hardships together, that's when you make tough bonds. When you do service together, when you go through hardships together, when you live in the ashram together, those relationships, last forever. And so that's just one day. And of course, I'm sure there are other times when Siddhartha Brahman and Krishna have a lot of fun things together. And so Siddhartha Brahman, poor Brahmana, comes to Krishna, and there is no question. For Krishna, there is no question. Dude, like, of course, And he didn't even end up asking. Actually, he felt too embarrassed. He didn't even ask. And all he could bring him was broken pieces of rice. That's all he could afford. All he could literally scrape, probably from the bottom of the barrel, little broken pieces of rice. And did anyone know in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, who came? Sudama Brahmana came as which person? Remember? Yeah, you're on point. Yeah. Where's our Lord Brahmana? He's meditating. Kolavecha Sridhar. So he was a Brahmin, he was a brahmachari for life, and he had this little hut he would live in, and he would sell these banana leaves. That wasn't right. He would sell these banana leaves for cheap, super cheap, best deal in town. And he would sell it near the Ganges, and people would come buy it. They use it for the puja, for the worship. And so Lord Chaitanya would come, I think as a kid, and he would just come and just take all the banana leaves, and he'd just harass him. And Kulavitra Sridhar would run after him, like, hey, poor man, I make 2 paisa of selling this banana leaf. And then later in life, Kulavitra Sridhar he only had one possession. He had this one pot that he would use for literally everything, for bathing, for cleaning, for cooking. That was his possession. And so it's described that even the most desperate thief in Bengal would not come and steal that pot. Like, it was so worthless. And so one day Lord Chaitanya appeared, and he came and he grabbed that pot and he started drinking water from it. And Kulaj was like, no, Mahaprabhu, please do not. Use this pot for everything. And Lord Chaitanya said, everything, whatever you offer me, I'll accept it. This is what you have, I'll accept it. So Sadama Brahmana went and he came and he brought the chip rice. And yeah, for Krishna, he just when Sadama Brahmana left, he just saw a palace back home. So for Krishna to take, it's a Prabhupada talks about it. It's when Krishna with 10 hands takes things away, what can you do with your 2 little hands? And when Krishna gives you, how much can you take with your 2 little hands? When Krishna gives with 10 hands, how much can you receive? So we are just little entities to our 2 little hands, and how much can we get? How much can we hold on to, and how much can we receive? And so over here, yeah, so sakama or akama, it doesn't, from Krishna's perspective, it doesn't matter. And most of us have some desires. Anybody got desires in town? Anyone here? Anybody? All sakama people here. But yeah, everybody has some kind of desire, And the funny thing is, we don't know. We don't know our own desires often. There's all kinds of things in our hearts from many millions and billions and trillions of lifetimes, and there's all kinds of desires, and we don't. I mean, even from this lifetime, there's our childhood has formed us in a certain way, and we have patterns, and we act in a certain way, and we act because this happened to us, and then you go to therapy, and and then you realize, oh yeah, that's why when I was 70 years old, that's why I behave like this. And so there's this from this lifetime. What to speak of millions and billions of lifetimes, And so we have all these desires and all these things that played out in our little heart. We desire these things. And so Krishna, how he's telling Kardamani, he says, I know what you desire. I know your heart. And that's the closest person we can have in our life, the person who knows our heart. That's the most intimate thing one can have with anybody. You knows your heart. So Krishna tells Kardamani, I know your heart. I've already arranged for it. Do not worry. He was like, I'm the best wingman he ever got. And so he's like, don't worry, Kardamani. What's his name? The Manu? Sambhuva Manu. The Sambhuva Manu is coming. He has the perfect daughter for you. You'll marry him. You'll be happy. You'll have 9 girls and me as your son. The Supreme Personality got it. And I was reflecting on what led Cardamom, what brought Cardamom to this point? What did he do? Anyone remember? Yes, bro? Tapasya. Do you remember why he did tapasya? It was, yeah. You remember why he did tapasya? He was instructed by Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is creating entities. He has to fill up this universe with people, with all kinds of people. And so he has this Prajapatis. Prajapatis are progenitors of the universe. And so he needs help. He's like, you gotta make some kids. And like, we need people for making more people. And so he creates these Prajapatis, all kinds. Daksha with the Prajapati. There's so many Prajapatis, progenitors, and they start filling the universe. And interesting, when I was reading the Bhagavatam, the initial Prajapatis, from them all kinds of species came. Like snakes came, just kind of like, oh wow, interesting. All kinds, they were filling up the universe, all kinds of species. Like, all right. And then so he's telling him, like, you gotta do this service, you gotta fill up the universe. And it's like, well, can't fill it up by myself, need a wife. So to procreate. And so that's when he prays to Lord Vishnu. So he does penance. And so he's there doing penance for a long time, and with that mood of service, and not just mood of service to fulfill the Guru's desire, Guru's instruction, that my spiritual master, our authority has come, our spiritual authority has told me, Lord Brahma himself has come and told me, and so sometimes it's like Prabhupada, you get an instruction, right? Bhaktisiddhanta gave instruction, go out to the West. The first time we met him, told him, go, why don't you preach to the West, in the West, to the British and the Americans, I guess. And he got that instruction, and then like 40 years later, 40 years later, he was able to enact it. And so sometimes we get instructions, and we might not be able to do it right away. Sometimes we got to do some penance so that we can get the qualifications, we can get the training, we can get whatever it is that we need to be able to do it. And so sometimes the instructions comes way back, and then we have to patiently endeavor through it. And Krishna does it because he loves to glorify his devotees. And he shows the world, yes, this is my devotee. He has done penance for so many years. Prabhupada did penance for so many years. And so many devotees are practically used. If you really go and hear their stories, one time Radhanath Maharaj was telling his stories of how he was in Vrindavan, and he was a brahmachari back then, and then of course he took sannyas. And he was there for many years, so austere. They would go break the ice, and then in the water, they'd break the ice in the bucket and then take a shower. And there's so many devotees live like that. And so they do all these austerities. There's a lecture Maharaj gives. So he was in Vrindavan for many years, and then after that he started preaching, and he started going to colleges and schools and high schools. So in the lecture he says he went to this high school. It was a Christian all-girls school, and he showed up to give a talk, and he's giving the talk, and then he gives the lecture, and this one girl raises her hand, and it's a question. And the girl goes, why do you smell like cows? Because he was in Vrindavan, all sounds like cows. That was one of his main services, tending to the cows. So I think he answered it that way. And then in the lecture, maybe before or after, anyways, he was talking about, these wars are man-made because everybody's eating, mating, defending, what's that number 4 time? Eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Yeah, forgot about sleep. I've been forgetting about sleep these days. Eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So he said, these countries are defending themselves, and this Vietnam war is going on. And then he had said that. So one of the girls, she goes, the war is over. And he goes, when was it over? And this is the 80s. The war's been over for a while. So Marge was, he went through so many austerities, and Marge would stay up late doing services. He hardly had any time to sleep. And he would just, at one point, I remember one of the disciples telling us that Marge would tie up his shika, a little rope, and so he would try to read. So the rope was there in case he falls asleep, wakes him up.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like, don't try this at home, please. Just make enough time to sleep and read and chant. Yeah, I knew, I could tell. Please do not. The point is, he did penances. Our penance here at Krishna House, we have a balanced schedule. So that's your penance. Figure it out. Not that you tie your shika to your ceiling, to the ceiling. So yeah, he did so many austerities, and there's so many devotees, so many stories like that, and doing all these austerities, and then finally, he sets up this Chapati temple and just grows so much, and and so yeah, but that's the point. In the Bhagavatam also we see devotees when they get instruction, many times they go and do penance, and then sometimes they do penance and they get more instructions. So that's the process of Krishna consciousness. It takes a bit of penance before you can even enact an instruction sometimes, before you see results. And the point is, like, you don't, it doesn't really matter what kind of results that you get. The relationship with Krishna is that the point is that he was following the instructions by a spiritual authority, and that's the crux of it. And like how I was talking about the rich person, how their attitude is, and how Krishna is so different. Spiritual life is just so different. It works out totally different from how material life plays out. Material life, you gotta be the top dog, right? You gotta go to law school and study really hard and perform better than all your other batchmates and be on the top percentile and be the top head honcho in the class. And then same thing goes on in the when you get a job, and you gotta be on top, to really, if you really want something big in life. So that's the mood. You gotta be the boss and a boss, the boss of the boss. And then in spiritual life, we have das and a das, the servant to the servant. And the interesting thing is, the lower we are in that, not hierarchy, but whatever, yeah, hierarchy, if you want to call it that. Lower we are on that platform, lower and lower, higher we are actually. In material life, you think, oh no, if I'm so junior, the junior, then I'm like, no nothing's gonna happen in life. But the lower we are in spiritual life, servant to the servant, then we are actually the highest, in Krishna's eyes. And so, yeah, we might get instructions, we might not be able to do it right away, but you just work towards it. You just really try hard, and that's the crux of it. That's what Krishna really wants. He wants efforts. He wants to see what you do. He wants to see. Yeah, Krishna really wants our heart. That's why he wants our effort, because he really wants. He loves us. When you love somebody, you give them your heart. And what does it mean to give your heart? You do everything possible in your in your control to just serve and to give. That's what you do. And so Prabhupada did that for his guru. He got that one instruction, and he fell in love with his guru. Really did. He loved his guru. He really did. He really did. I think he even said that when I know he said my guru is special. Yeah. One time when what's his name? Mukunda Marj, when he was a new devotee, he went to Marj, to Prabhupada, sorry, and he said, Prabhupada, what if, there's your god brothers, should we go hear from them or something? And this was way back, they hadn't even gone to India. It was just simple, genuine question. And and Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj is very special. And Mukunda Maharaj's realization was that, oh, Prabhupada is here, he's very special. Let me hear from him first. And because this was like before they hadn't even gone to India yet. Somehow he thought of it, I guess. So Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj is so special. That's all he said. Didn't say anything else. But that was his deduction from it. Prabhupada loved his Guru. And so, yeah, we love our spiritual authority, our spiritual master, and we love Srila Prabhupada. And yeah, when you love somebody, you do a lot from your heart. You give your heart. And so that's what Kardama Muni did. And all these people in the Bhagavatam, that's what they did. And when you give from your heart to Guru and Krishna, then Krishna rewards back. Not because we're doing it for reward, but he reciprocates. Krishna just reciprocates, and he sees what's in your heart, and he fulfills it. And he fulfills it in a way that your heart will be further and further purified. That's the beauty of it. That's the best part about Krishna, because he's so expert, intelligent. He can do things in such a way so as to not to lead you further in material life, fulfill it, but also purify your heart, also show you a path how to grow further in spiritual life while fulfilling your so-called your material desires. That's Krishna. And another thing I was thinking was that Pradhan Muni was honest. He had this desire to marry. And that's another thing I was thinking. It's just so important to be honest in one's spiritual life. We can't pretend to be at a position where we are not, you know. And that's often a thing in spiritual life. Even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he talked about it. He talks about in Madhurya Kadambini. The first stage in the spiritual life is Bhavatarangini. You have all these emotions, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna be the best devotee in the whole wide world. I'm gonna take sannyas. I'm gonna go preach in 108 countries by next year. And all these emotions, all these, you know, and which is great. Enthusiasm, initial enthusiasm. That's what it's called. And so this initial enthusiasm, which is very much needed in spiritual life. It's very good to have it. And what do we call it? The other term we have? PDS. Pure devotee syndrome. I'm a pure devotee. I think I was telling that the other time, maybe last class I was mentioning about the devotee who thought he was a pure devotee in a week. Any case, yeah, so there's that initial enthusiasm, a pure devotee. And yeah, when you follow pure devotee, you are a pure devotee. And then when that initial enthusiasm fades in the bed, you're like, oh, I'm such a loser. I can't control my sex desire. I should get married tomorrow. You know, is that bhakti available? You know, it's like the mind goes from like real high to real low. And then it's natural. It happens to everybody. And it's the story of ashram life. And then you realize, all right, you know, maybe I'm not that of a big shot, but let me serve Krishna to the best of my capability. I'm here, I want to be here, and let me work towards that. That's what mode of goodness is. Mode of goodness, you realize, all right, just take one step at a time. One time, I was in this lecture personally. One time, this one devotee asked Radha Maharaj, he was like, Maharaj, why should we chant every day? What is the point? It's every day? I got to do every day. And Maharaj said, he asked, where do you live? He said, I live in Chicago. So he said, so when you go out in the cold winters of Chicago, do you wear 7 coats at once? And he said, no. Why? He said, just wear 7 coats for once a week and don't wear coats for the rest of the week. Would it work? He was like, no, Maharaj. You gotta wear a coat every day. It's cold. His material world is a cold place. You have to chant every day. You have to do sadhana every day. You have to do all this every day. And so that was Maharaj's point. Yeah, it's like, yeah, so we're here, we want to be here. Yeah, we work towards it every day, every single day. We do devotional service. We give our heart to Krishna every day. Yeah, it's like any relationship. You gotta give your heart every day. That's what I'm learning these days. And every single day. So it's the same with Krishna. You gotta give your heart every day. How do you do it? You do it through japa, you do it through reading, chanting, and hearing. Yeah, it's like the person you love, you hear about them, you talk about them, you know. So that's Krishna for us. And Krishna makes it real easy. Krishna makes it super easy because he's just cool. What are some cool pastimes of Krishna that be easy and fun to chant and hear? Well, what are your favorite pastimes? What's your favorite pastime, Alex?
When Krishna, he was a child,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in the field with Balaram, he was the cowherd boys, and everybody knows the story. It's like there's a lot in my life, but this is what I'm gonna pick right now. He goes to eating dirt.
Oh, yeah.
So when he's eating dirt, they're like, oh, we're gonna go tell on you. So they go to your mother Yashoda, peace be upon her. And they go to her. And they go to her like, oh, Krishna's eating dirt again. She was like, They're like, yeah, go see. So when she goes to look, Krishna, she's like, Krishna, let me see your mouth. Let me see what you got in your mouth. Take it out your mouth. And she opens his mouth, and she sees the heavens and the earth, and everything in between them. And she faints. Boom. And then when she wakes up, Nanda Maharaj, and I'm like, what happened? You know, she was like, I don't know what I saw. And they're like, what'd you see? And when she explained to them what she saw, they were like, nah, man,
He's tripping.
Yeah,
That's
no way.
exactly what he
He's
said.
just a boy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. One time when Krishna would eat the yogurt and all that, and you just make such a mess. And Mother Shudis was like, "What were you, a pig in your last life?" I looked up. How did you know? I heard this story, but can't be verified, but it's funny. Yeah. All right. What else? Any other favorite pastimes? Varaha, yeah, Varaha. Picking your last life. Any? What's your favorite pastime, Kali?
Uh,
Oh, one of your.
Probably anyone where he's like killing somebody.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got plenty of them.
Yeah.
Which one is the behead? Most of them beheadings.
Which one? That's like a tornado. Or,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What's his name? Trinavert. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The one where he killed Putna was pretty epic too. The most epic part of it. Mars talked about it. Rana Mars talked about it in the lecture. So he kills Putna, right? This demon. And when he's sucking the life out of her, she takes her original form and shape, which is really huge. Apparently, she was that huge, and he made her fall in such a way that a part of her fell and crushed Kamsa's most favorite gardens. The gardens you tend to and tell us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was really huge. Part of her hand. I don't know what part crushed the gardens, but some part. Yeah, from here to Lacha. Yeah. So Krishna is so expert, and yeah, and he really gets you. He really knows how to push someone's buttons when he really wants to, and when he really wants to purify you, and that really push comes his buttons. And he kept sending more demons. But yeah, the Trinavarta was one of the initial demons he had sent. It was before? It was no, Putna was the first one. So yeah, it was after, right? So very soon after Trinavarta, there was a cart demon also. Yeah, and came in the shape of a cart, and Krishna just kicked it with little toes and broke apart. Yeah. Was that? Was the airline cart? Yeah. Yeah, that didn't take much. It was just a little kick from baby. That's it. All right. What else? Anyone else? Any other favorite? One more. Okay.
There's another one where the gopis go to take a bath in the Yamuna,
Mm-hmm.
and so they come out, they're taking a bath, they're enjoying their time, they're playing and all that fun stuff. And they come out and they go to get their saris. The saris are not there. And they're looking around and they're holding themselves like, dang. So they go back in the water because they're naked. So they're like, who got our saris? Krishna's up in the tree. He's like, oh, I got your saris.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing with them.
Yeah.
That was another. There was another one too, and I'm done. This is 10th canto, emotional roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
where Krishna makes himself disappear. And this is I think a little bit before the Rasa Leela dance, and the gopis go insane looking for Krishna.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of prayers by a bunch of them. It literally explained they blinked and he was gone.
Mm.
They were like, oh, where's Krishna? And I resonated with that. Without Arshivigah, and not being able to come down every day and see Krishna. Krishna's still there even though he's not. Saying even though you can't physically receive him. So
yeah, thank you.
And the trickster.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. It's Tribanga, his threefold bended form. He's a trickster. What about you, Kunti? What's your favorite pastime?
It was that one.
Oh, really? Which one? The gopis?
In the bathing one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else? Any other favorite pastimes? Oh, sure, Bruce, please. Oh, break it by.
It's not exactly a pastime, but something I heard was that first there was a well, and Krishna was going to the well and said some profanities and screamed it, and people would go and that's one of the
Of course, that's your favorite pasta. Sounds good.
You know, the absolute truth goes squeeze profanity well.
That's fine. Sure. Sure. Yeah.
So when he was asking the Lord for the wife, but before that we were reading that there was he could have asked Uma or sometimes ladies pray to Katsayani, different demigods,
Yeah.
for the same husband or wife. So what would be the difference in the result if one asks for a wife from Krishna?
Oh,
or
you
from
could
a
have asked
demigod?
Uma.
And what would be the outcomes?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like anything, you know, when you go to demigods, they'll fulfill your desires, and then you just get further entangled. But with Krishna, it's like you get service. You know, when even when you ask for material things, you get service, and he fulfills it in a way that you get more service, you get closer to him. Yeah. I mean, it makes me think of Vibhishan. You know, Vibhishan, he left his brother and came to Lord Ram, and he just told Lord Ram, like, I'm in your shelter. And then Lord Ram, Vibhishan was outcasted, you know, by his brother, and his. It's funny. It's like with the by his brother and the nephew, his nephew, Ravana's son, Indrajit. Indrajit got the name because he got victory over Indra, and so he was very proud. And so he told him, he said, "You got victory on Indra, but Lord Ram's another league." He's a supreme personality guy, and Indrajit got really upset, and he insulted Vibhishan, and they were all ready to like kill him, basically, calling him a traitor. So he just left on a little boat, left Lanka, and saw Lord Ram, and he said, "I'm yours." Yeah, he could have just complied, right? You know, Ram is a great guy, big guy, and just follow the lead and just comply with them and, you know, stay in the palace. They're like, no, this is not, you know, I'm gonna go take shelter of Lord Ram. So he did. And Lord Ram, and then of course when he came, all the one army, the monkeys, Sugriva and all this, they're like, he's a spy. He's your enemy's brother. Not just anybody from their camps, like enemy's brother. Like, of course he's a spy. And Lord Ram at that point said, doesn't matter. Anyone who comes to my shelter says, anyone even one says, I'm yours, you know, give shelter all this, you know, forever, for eternity. So yeah, I mean, to your point, yeah, that's the difference. That's the benefit of going to Krishna. Purifies our heart, brings us closer to Krishna. And the thing is, then later, you know, when Ravana was killed, he put Vibhishan as the king of Lanka. And so yeah, not necessarily that he wanted to be king, but you know, he gave him the whole kingdom, and then he got devotional service as well. But yeah, it was just so beautiful. He left Vibhishan, left everything. Yeah, he left. Of course, he had so much faith in Lord Ram, you know, but to see he was the brother of the king. Everything he knew was Lanka, that kingdom. He left everything. You know, he went there by himself. You know, he left his family, spouse, and everybody, and just left, and he took shelter. So yeah, with devotees, we see that they surrender. They surrender to Krishna. They, you know, like Krishna is saying here, Vishnu is saying here, that yeah, especially persons like you who have given up everything onto me, there is never any question of frustration. So yeah, for us devotees as well, you know, when we give our energy to Krishna, especially when you live in ashram, you know, it might feel tedious. It might feel like you're giving up so much. You're giving up coffee and whatnot, and and you know, but that little sacrifice, that energy, it's not little actually. It might seem little, but Krishna really values it. Like, yeah, this person is working on our relationship, and when the Supreme Personality God values that, you know, then yeah, of course there will be no frustration in life. You know, sooner or later, you know, all the frustration that will be left in our own creation. But yes, Ruth.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention that I'm not sure, please correct me, but I think that one of the difference also is that Krishna like knows your heart and also like what's best for you.
Yeah, of course.
And some
Yeah.
like demigods, like you know, like Shiva is very famous. That
Yeah.
just, they pray to him for partners. But what happened with your body? Like she prayed 5 times So
Oh,
she got like 5 husbands.
She got
and
5
I'm like,
husbands.
"I shouldn't name this." So, so
And cooking for one guy.
like more
Yeah.
conflicts, really Krishna.
Yeah, that's why Krishna had to give her a pot that makes enough food to cook for 5 people all the time. But yeah, cooking for one person is enough. But yeah, it's true. When demigods give you desire, then it makes you makes that seed of the desire, grow. Yeah, that root grow further and further. It becomes more deep rooted. When Krishna fulfills your desire, then he cuts those roots. He does it in such a way that it just cuts those entanglements from the root. And then, yeah, Dhruva Maharaj, right? It's the most famous one. He asked for a kingdom, was really stubborn about it. He asked for it, he got it. But by the time he saw Vishnu, it was like, I was just asking for broken pieces of glasses. And so that was his realization. But yeah. So yeah, it's best to any thoughts, Prabhu? Do you have any thoughts on that?
It does sound like it takes courage
Mhm.
and a lot of faith.
Yeah.
Because as the lesson mentioned that when you ask Krishna for something, he may not give you what you want, but what you need.
Yeah.
He might not give you what you want.
Yeah. Or in a way that you let go of it or something. Yeah. You're like, I don't want this. Oh, yeah.
In this time when Prabhupada is like, just give this one life to Krishna. So
Yeah.
have faith, just give him one
Yeah.
life. He's spent so many millions of lives.
Yeah.
Let's give this one.
One life. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, best to give up. The thing is, in the end, there's only really Krishna. There's all these demigods, there's all these people of resources, but the thing is, even these demigods and people who in this world who give us, whatever it is, money, wealth, whatever, or anything that we desire, all those they come because of Krishna, and they're Krishna's expansions. And so the best course of action, even if you want anything, it could be the most lusty desire for whatever it is that you desire for, just go to Krishna. Like, don't feel ashamed, just go to him and be like, here I am, I'm my little lusty heart, and here's what I want, and give it to me. I'm your problem now, I'm your child. And the thing is, that's the reality. We're Krishna's children. You just go to Radha Shyam Sundar, like, here I am, I'm your kid, you gotta give me, like little kid. Is ask for it, and then he'll do the rest. It's so simple, it's so easy. And yeah, with demigods, you got to do all these yagyas and pujas, and Krishna, just go there, just tell your desire, and then he'll do whatever is the best thing for you. Yeah, as you mentioned, yes, it takes courage, but yeah, the good part is then, yeah, demigods are they don't take care of you like Krishna does. Was that politicians? Exactly. Yeah. They get something, but Krishna really takes care of you. He's always there for you. Even if after he gives his even if something later goes wrong, like, he's not gonna abandon you. Krishna never abandons anybody. Talking of abandoning, here's karma. All right. Anything else? Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Comments?
So there really is no limit on what you can ask Krishna. Like,
Mhm.
is there such thing as like things that you shouldn't ask Krishna for?
You should not, or
that you should not.
you should not. Well, yeah. Desires can be in 3 modes, right? Mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. So ideally, you ask things in mode of goodness. You see what's best for your spiritual life, best for life. You ask for those things from Krishna. Yeah, ideally, the passion, ignorance part, maybe those kind. And that's another thing, actually. One last point. Karda Muni, he did everything properly, did everything mode of goodness. He did penance, and then he asked for life. And so when we're in spiritual life, in ashram life especially, you don't want to go wife hunting in the ashram. You don't want to go. It never works out. Trust me. Never works out. Always follow the rule of 3. It's not the rule of third wheel. You gotta have real third person. Can't have a mannequin. But yeah, so you follow the standards, and then Krishna fulfills. But yeah, desires that are totally in passion and ignorance, and how do you define those? How do you identify those? Normally, you want instant results. Right now, I want this right now.
Nah, it's comes like you have to be patient.
Yeah, you gotta be patient, and And of course, desires that have to do with breaking the four regulated principles, of course. Even for that, you can go to Krishna. He'll fulfill it, but it'll be pretty harrowing. It'll be a harrowing experience. But yeah, depending on what kind of desire you have, Krishna will give you the experience. But in a sense, there's nothing you cannot go to Krishna for. But yeah, but just be ready for how Krishna will fulfill that desire. Yeah, more mode of goodness, it'll be easier. More mode of ignorance, a little harder.
Will there be like does he put you through a trial before he gives it to you? Like a test?
A test of sorts.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does. He sure does. Yeah, he does. He tests. He penance basically. You gotta do some penance. Yes, bro.
He will give it to you in such a way you're not gonna ask for it again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, we should end your practice here. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Right.
Mahaprasad.